Hey everyone, it's Amit Bandari from TalkCondo.com, and today we are with Chris Castellano, who is involved with sales and marketing with Cameras Falcorp, and we're here to talk about Exchange District Phase 3. Amazing. Chris, thank you so much.
Amit, thanks so much. I always enjoy our conversations.
So do I. So a lot has happened since we talked last about anything regarding Exchange District, because the last time we chat was, if you can remember, was on the run-up.
2 years ago now.
It was on the run-up to Exchange District 1.
2 years ago, it was right before we launched Exchange District 1. We had you guys in twice, once because the audio dropped, and then the second time we did it in our office.
In the office, yeah.
I had a big beard back then.
I was just going to say, that so much has changed. I don't have hair, you don't have a beard.
It's just, I wanted to be more like you, just wanted to get rid of as much hair as possible.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, a lot has happened since then. So why don't you tell us what has happened? Because, you know, Exchange District 1 has happened, Exchange District 2 has happened.
For sure.
Construction. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, so listen, in 2019, we, with help of yourself, your brother, the whole agent community, came out to the world and said, we're launching this brand new internationally inspired project in downtown Mississauga. And, you know, very fortunately, and, you know, thanks a bit to our 45 years of experience, we've basically acted as a catalyst for the downtown Mississauga in terms of condo development and condo launches.
I like you mentioned that word because I want to repeat it again and talk about it.
For sure. So, you know, since our launch of EX1 in April of 2019, you've seen a host of other buildings come.
A ton.
You've seen, you know, M-City is well underway and they're launching buildings. Parkside Village continues to launch. You've seen new people come in.
Applications.
Yeah, tons of applications are coming in now. And, you know, that's not something uncommon for Camrost to do. You know, we've been around for 45 years, and if you look at our history, specifically our founder, David Feldman, he really has this knack of picking locations and picking sites that act as catalysts and act as, you know, the flint that really starts the development of an area. A great example that you and I chatted about last time.
We're in one.
Exactly, yeah. Yonge and St. Clair, when we started with the Avenue, which was, this strip was dead and desolate. And since then, you know, we've got the Avenue, we've got 111 St. Clair, we've got the building we're in today, 101 St. Clair, we've got 99 Fox Bar, which is going to be registering soon, we've got the townhomes. And, you know, when you look at the St. Clair corridor now, you have incredible projects that have launched, you know, just down on the other side of the street, as well as a lot of applications in. Another great example that you and I talked about last time is Park Lawn and Lakeshore, Mystic Point, right? Back when it was the old Lakeshore motel strip, David Feldman launched Mystic Point. You know, I put up California Condos, I-Lofts, the Tides, new warehouse lofts, the warehouse lofts, and really started that node, which is now, you know, when you look at the Mr. Christie sites and what they have planned for there, it's a new city unto itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there definitely has been a lot happening in Mississauga and a lot happening in Exchange. If I know you've seen the videos and footage and you've driven by the site, it's this massive hole in the ground right now.
Well, we were there at the
groundbreaking.
Yeah. So, which is fantastic.
So we're underway for 3 of the 4 buildings, and this is the final building, EX3, that we're going to be launching. It's the final opportunity for your clients to get into Exchange District. Absolutely. It's going to be the tallest tower, 66 stories, and it's going to be, you know, well over 600 units. So an incredible opportunity for clients to, you know, grab the final piece of this master plan community.
Absolutely. So you've gone through a lot of stuff there, but I want to take it piece by piece now, and I want to talk about the location even more. Like there's a lot of stuff that you rhymed off there about the applications, but I think we need to delve a little bit deeper because you mentioned the word catalyst. So anytime we are looking for personal investments or recommending investments, catalysts are important.
Right.
They set the tone for what is to be. And you said, like, there's ever since Exchange District started, and you're right, it was sort of like this ignition that started everything else afterwards. In that 2-year span, there's been a whole host of new developments, a whole host of new applications. Where do you see this going?
Well, I think it's a bit of a loaded question. So right off the bat, I think something very interesting is if you look at 2021, there have been more condo launches in the downtown Mississauga than there have been in downtown Toronto, right? So it just goes to show you the strength of that market and you know, the bandwidth of it. In terms of where does it go, to look at that, I'm very pedestrian in my thinking. You have to think of the basic metrics for Mississauga, right? So how does it act as a job center? How does it act as a retail enjoyment center? How does it act as a transport center? And when you actually start paring back and looking at these things in an individual way, you see that it really does compete with a downtown Toronto. When you look at Mississauga as a job center, you'll see that over 70 Fortune 500 companies have their head office in Mississauga, right? Yep. As the highest number of Japanese head offices outside of Japan are Mississauga. You've got the...
And why is that important? Because of the tenant pool.
Exactly, right? Ultimately, people want to live close to work, right? People want to have the ability to have ease of transit to their work, and that's what this location in Mississauga, one of the things that this location in Mississauga offers. Yeah. So in terms of job center, you've got all those, you've got the different schools that are there, you've got the airport, Square One, right, over 300 and something
Literally, literally no joke.
Yeah, if you sneeze hard enough, you'll fly into Square One, right? It's someone asked me once, how far of a walk is it, and it's basically probably closer than getting your mail for some of the units.
It's very close.
It's an incredible amenity, and Square One is doing great things with the mall itself. They've got the food district now. They are always bringing in fantastic tenants. Square One Shopping Center is one of Canada's largest malls, and it commands a very premium sort of clientele that goes in there. And what's great about Exchange is you're right across from that high-end wing of Square One, right?
And the new wing,
the new addition to it. So from a location standpoint, where can we go? On the job center, you've got to check. Location and transit, the Future Here Ontario LRT it's been awarded, it's under construction. So you're going to have ease of transit in Mississauga, and then very ease of transit to downtown Toronto if that's commute that needs to be done. So you've got transit ticked off. Then you look at retail amenities, there's already a very strong retail base in Mississauga. With developments like ours, Exchange District, we're going to be announcing shortly some really big partners that are going to be joining us. So that'll add, that'll just help to add to the project and where it can go. So really, the sky's the limit with Mississauga, because when you look at all the key metrics of it, you see that there's a lot more room to grow. Sorry to interrupt, but something that you and I have discussed previously is that when you look at condo resale prices in Mississauga, they're at a 20 to a 30% discount to downtown Toronto as of today. Historically, that was a much larger gap, and it's weaning smaller and smaller. But when you look at rental rates, you find that they're almost kif-kif. They're almost exactly the same. So Mississauga represents really a very interesting opportunity for investors. And when you look at the type of developers that are moving out to Mississauga,
tier.
It's the top tier, right? It's the who's of developers now that are looking at the Mississauga landscape.
Absolutely. And what I was going to jump in with was that this is not by accident either. This is all by design.
Correct.
This is all from municipal level. They want the impression I get, and of course you guys are probably way more privy to stuff than we are on this side. But outside looking in, it feels like Bonnie Crombie and the rest of whoever's involved with this, when you're rhyming off the top cities across Canada, it feels like they want Mississauga to be in that list of names that being rhymed off, right? They really want it's like growing up now. Mississauga is really growing up and wanting to be really on the map, known for global.
For sure. Listen, the city of Mississauga has a very ambitious sort of future plan of what they want to achieve.
Very aggressive.
And it has all the foundations there for it, which is why it's been, we've worked very closely with Mayor Crombie as well as the rest of city staff and the city councillors, Councillor Kovac, for example. We've worked hand in hand with them because they really do want to see these visions come to life. And we're right next to City Hall. So we're one of the, I like to think we're one of the marquee projects because of our location. And when you drive to Mississauga currently, everyone's able to see the Absolute Towers, the Marrow.
The skyline.
Right? The skyline is beautiful.
It's amazing.
And when you think of how Exchange District is now going to change that skyline forever.
Absolutely.
It's a project that will stand tall in the Mississauga skyline.
Literally.
That will bring, very, very much so. It's 66 stories with EX3. But it'll also bring a great deal of that international influenced community to the downtown core.
Let's move on to that now, actually the community itself, because full disclosure, you obviously know, but to the folks that are going to be watching or listening on the podcast, our parents purchased a large unit for themselves to live in EX1. Just that alone should give a lot of whoever's listening a lot of confidence in how much we believe in the project.
If you're willing to put your parents in a project,
exactly,
says a lot.
I know, and then the next disclosure is I purchased one as an investment in EX2. What you rhymed off a whole bunch of stuff. That was my thinking, like location and everything else, all the catalysts that are taking place. But another catalyst for me is what you guys are doing within the project itself, the community, the Piazza. Please go through it because there's a whole host of different things going on there.
For sure. So I think a really important topic to broach is this idea of a master plan community.
Yes.
So the term master plan community has been getting a bit tired over the past couple of years, right? A lot of people love to call it a master plan community and not really execute on that idea. It's sort of been devalued, unfortunately, over the past couple of years. Camross Felcor, we've cut our teeth in master plan communities.
Yes,
we did it out at Mystic Point. We did it in Yorkville with the revitalization of the old Four Seasons. We're doing it in Leaside with Upper East Village. We've done it in Mississauga previously. So
years ago,
right? So it is something that we understand and something we've been able to perfect over the years. So one of the key points for us to do with Exchange District was to make sure that the livability of a resident is paramount.
Yep.
So what do I mean by that? The way the buildings talk to each other on the ground level, you'll notice there's no above grade parking. All the parking is buried underground. Now the reason for that is so that you have access to retail shops, cafes, restaurants, a public sitting area. The public piazza is a great example where we've designed this space to entice people to want to be part of the community. You know, if you go downtown and you walk along King Street, Queen Street, it's all this beautiful animation, retail animation right on the streetscape. And that's what we're bringing to the Exchange District. And we feel that that's an incredible asset for your investors and for your purchasers, because now this has become a sought after place to live.
Absolutely. People will gravitate.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, a great example is in this exact community we're sitting in at 111 St. Clair, right at the base, there's an LCBO and there's Longo's. So number one, from a livability standpoint of the people who lived in that building, those were huge amenities to have open up, right? A liquor store and a grocery store. From an investment standpoint, as soon as that happened, all the prices jumped 10%. Absolutely. Rents jumped because now you don't have to go long and far for it. It's right at your fingertips. And it lends to a certain lifestyle that people are looking for today, ultimate convenience, right? And you see it in parts of Toronto, right? Downtown Toronto is fairly big and robust, right? But you have these little pockets that will always command a premium to the rest of the city because they have that retail animation. Exactly. And that's what's happening with Exchange District. You have downtown Mississauga. There's a lot of projects in downtown Mississauga. Absolutely. But then you have Exchange District, which is like this little jewel in the overall downtown core. And that will allow purchasers and residents to command higher prices and to live in a more sought after location.
There is a lot of layers here, right? It's all this plus the other stuff that we just spoke about, right?
For sure.
It just combines into this really interesting investment opportunity I agree, and that's why I got one myself.
I mean, that should be the entire thing. Like, why are you doing this? Well, Amit bought, so you know it's a good investment. That should just be the entire. We don't have to do this interview, really.
No, I guess not. But you know, the other thing you highlighted the Piazza, and I think that's a really, really big deal because it almost feels like a mini celebration square.
Yes.
Me. And the unit that I purchased, actually, I deliberately got it because hopefully you can see the Piazza. And I want to see that. I want to see all the life and animation, as you rightly put it. I want to be able to see all that.
Well, that's it. Everyone wants to feel connected, right? Yeah. I think, there's a lot of, ultimately we're focusing and looking at the end resident.
Right.
And the residents always look for different things in condos and different lifestyles they want to live. I think the kind of person that's going to buy an Exchange District or want to live or rent an Exchange District is someone who wants to be connected.
Right.
And I think the way society is going and the way, the market trends we're seeing is that's, especially coming out of COVID, is that's what people want. People want everything at their fingertips. Yeah. They don't want to have to travel far. They don't want to have to worry about going long distances for something. It's kind of like this hyper density is becoming more and more attractive now to people in and around the GTA, and I think Exchange District really speaks to that because it offers such a connected lifestyle.
There's one other thing that I wanted to quickly touch on. You rhymed off very quickly actually two retail components of Imperial Plaza, LCBO and Longos.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight that just shows the kind of caliber of retail that Camrost has a pull with.
Yes.
I just want to highlight that.
For sure. So we very much curate the retail that goes into our spaces.
Yeah.
Some other developers kind of package off and sell off the retail.
Yep.
We don't necessarily do that. We like to maintain the retail because it allows us to pick and choose and curate the kind of offering that goes into it.
Yep.
Right? At the end of the day, for us, we're building a master plan community that people will live in. So it's more,
and it'll be long-standing as well,
It'll be
right?
long-standing, exactly, because having Longos and LCBO, it shows what we want to do. So we want to put the right kind of retailers in there. So we're very selective with who we work with and who we'll partner with to go into these developments. As you can imagine, simply because of the location and because there's going to be 2,000 units above them, there's a lot of interest from a lot of restaurants, cafes, bars, retailers that want to go in. And we're fortunate enough to have a track record and to have the relationships that we can really decide what goes in that is most beneficial. So we can't announce it yet, but we've got some really interesting restaurants and some really interesting partnerships that we'll be able to divulge shortly that I think will sort of set the stage for the kind of retail amenities your
and also the general direction, right? To go along with the vision that you have with this community as a whole.
Yeah, of course.
So we came here to talk about EX3. So why don't we do that? the last chance to purchase in the Exchange District community.
Yes.
So what can you tell us specifically about the building? Size you mentioned very quickly, but size again, suite count, types of amenities, what can we expect?
For sure. So, we drew a lot of inspiration from EX1, EX2, right?
Yep.
Very successful buildings. They're very much in line with the Camrost ethos that we have. EX3 is going to be, quite similar. In terms of suite layouts, you can expect the same sort of, the same Camrost touch on the suites. That's a great way of putting it. The same Camrost touch on the suites. And we're going to have suites ranging from 1 bedrooms, 1 plus dens, 2 bedrooms, 2 plus dens, at all different size increments to really be approachable for different investors or purchasers depending on what they're looking for. In terms of amenities, we're going to have a huge, over 20,000 square feet of amenities in this, both indoor and outdoor. We've got work from home, an expansive work from home offering that's going to be there. We've got incredible party rooms, social gathering rooms. We've got a top of the line fitness facility, yoga studio. We're going to be putting in a hydrotherapy room, saunas. And what's incredible is you're going to have this, as you've seen with some of our other buildings, with the other buildings, we've got an amazing exterior amenity offering with this as well. So you're going to have an outdoor fitness space, an outdoor yoga studio, an incredible dining garden, barbecues. So this is really a lifestyle-oriented building.
There's one other thing as well that you can't really touch, feel, see, is the geothermal aspect of it that if you want to just quickly touch on.
For sure. So geothermal, Camrost, our line is building excellence. So geothermal for us was a way to future-proof the building and a way to help us lower fees for purchasers, right? Because it's a more sustainable way of heating and cooling the building and it uses the Earth's ambient temperature, we're able to offer, quite approachable maintenance fees to it.
Amazing.
It also helps with long-term carrying costs because there's less machinery needed to run it all. And it's just a more sustainable way of heating and cooling the building. So that coupled with the VRF system we're putting in is a very innovative way that we're looking to approach this.
Carrying costs lower, ding, like investors' ears should be like, oh, perking up, right?
Well, that's it. At the end of the day, I think
combined with everything else.
Exactly. Right? Camrost, what we look at is we're not the kind of company or developer that picks one aspect and runs with it. We have to look at the overall package.
Right.
And I hope that when people look at Exchange, they're able to see since time of purchase and conception, almost decades worth of work and planning that went into this. We sit down and we mentioned that 2 years ago we met, but we started planning
You
this
probably
way
years
before,
ago. Yeah,
way
years
before.
ago. And you can see it, like you can see it in everything that you're creating and how it's carefully choosing certain things and the retail part and the Piazza and like everything. It just makes sense. Chris, is there anything that I missed, like that we didn't go over?
I think honestly, I think that's pretty much it. Listen, we talked developer, we talked
location,
building, we talked
Mississauga.
location. That's pretty much it. I mean, the whole video should just be you saying you bought a unit and we're good to go.
Just clip that bit.
Yeah, so why don't you do a bit of an outro? Just contact, for first access, contact.
Sure, yeah. Well, if you guys are interested in purchasing at Exchange District,
you should be.
Phase 3. Chris, who should they contact?
Well, Amit would be a great person to reach out to. Contact the Talk Condo team. I'll let you give, I don't have your phone number memorized.
416-721-8852 or amit@talkcondo.com.
Amazing. Looking forward to seeing you at launch. Have a good one, man.
You too.